2009, 2010, I'm out of options. So I said to Martin, who's living in Hong Kong, and I'm in Australia, I said to Martin, Martin, we're going back into the immigration business. He said, oh yeah, well, what's this all about? How do we do this then? I said, well, you know, Martin, all we need to do is rewrite the Hong Kong Visa Handbook. I can do that, it's not a big deal for me. But the Hong Kong Visa Handbook that I originally wrote in 1996, it just remained sort of a text thing. Because that was all that bandwidth and processing power and all the rest of that good stuff was available to you. So it was very, you know, wasn't particularly feature rich. So I said to Martin, I said, you know, everything that we need now to deliver feature rich content's available, and it's dirt cheap really. You know, it's $5 a month for this or $10 a month for that. I said, you know, let's assemble a business like we did around, you know, the Hong Kong Visa Handbook in 1996. We just do it better this time, and we use all the capabilities of the modern internet. I said, you know, I'm in Australia, I can't be in Hong Kong delivering the consultations, but I can do all the work remotely. I can organise the on-the-ground arrangements for running things around in Hong Kong, so why not? Okay, how are we going to do it? So we came up with this idea of having two websites, one called the Hong Kong Visa Handbook and the other called the Hong Kong Visa Centre. And the Hong Kong Visa Handbook is a completely ad-free, no pressure to buy experience that just gives you all the content that you need to solve your problem, like the Wikipedia of Hong Kong immigration. And then recognizing that people who look at your content and they've been taught how to solve their problem can make an informed decision about whether they need any help, and if they need some help, what level of help do they need, and how can you deliver that help to them in a way that's acceptable at the right price, so it just makes sense to actually, you know, seek that help in the first place. What does that business model look like? How can we use existing available technology to do that? Well, it was all there. Fax to email, Skype, payments by PayPal, it's all there, dirt cheap. So we put that together, and it took us 6 weeks to get our first set of paid instructions, and then we effectively haven't stopped selling ever since. And in the early days we bought traffic, and I'm not quite sure how effective that was, but it got people to contact us, so people were certainly visiting the site. And we were trying our hardest playing the unnatural SEO game with all of these ridiculous exercises in manifesting various spam websites and spam parlaying of information through certain sort of feeds and streams, and just basically sending rubbish out on the internet supposedly to improve your SEO. So once we'd figured that was all nonsense, we decided that we had a missing piece, because if we were going to publish regularly, then I needed another website, because I needed a daily content update site. And by having that in place, then I had an opportunity to reach out to the people who had these problems, and then they would be enabled to have their problem solved, or they could seek a specific answer from me. And by availing of them of a service where you get a reply, a podcast reply to the question that you ask within 48 hours, we're able to keep our core Hong Kong Visa Handbook content up to date with the ongoing realities of how immigration is being experienced day to day by people who've got problems in it that are seeking our answers from it. So you can add that to the content mix. So it makes your content live and interesting. So we needed then to have our third website, so that was going to be called the Hong Kong Visa Giza website, because it was the idea virus. And using all of the stuff that I've discussed in other sections of the talk thus far, we incrementally built up a foundation of content of products and services that are all reflected in here in a purple cow fashion. And these are the 3 brands that we have manifested on the internet. And as I mentioned, this is the kind of performance that we've had since we started to do that, recognizing that we've got a tribe that is at least 50,000 strong. So during these years, what has happened is that the money came back, and the problems that I had were all started to get solved. And as we grew more and more in demand as a business, it meant we had more readily available funds for investing. So we then invested in the Video Cha-Cha business, which is the content production business. And in order to sort of maintain the fusion of the content production business and the immigration business, I realized that I needed to have another kind of irresistible offer, a kind of a really generous proposition that I could give to people, where essentially I could promulgate my own Visa Geezer idea virus, but do it in a way that is so ultimately so altruistic and genuine and generous that it really doesn't matter the fact that you've used it to promulgate, you know, your own interests in that fashion. So I've come up with this program called the Visa Geezer Interviews, and we're interviewing 250 entrepreneurs over the next 5 years, and we're going to create a record of modern social history as to what the entrepreneurial community is actually up to in this town during this really interesting time. You see, my proposition is that everything that I've achieved so far, it's available to be achieved in every other niche by anybody at any point in time. And for me, it's just a question of when are people going to realise that all you have to do is this stuff, and it's there for you. This is a surefire win. And it's interesting for me because it's obvious to me what you need to do, but people haven't cottoned onto it yet. And watching people's response to how we've achieved this makes it worthy of committing to record now, because I want to be able, at the end of these 250 interviews, to be able to look back at that and say, well, really, given now what's self-evident to everybody, how evident was it to the people that were in business in Hong Kong in that time? To them. So this has, you know, really forged now our opportunity to continually give back to our community, and in exchange, whenever there's an opportunity for service need, we anticipate that the vast majority of people we've got relationships with will instruct us.